How big of a role does your service area for your dumpster rental business affect you? How does it change your business model? Does it change the type of customer you're pursuing? Those who are in the inner city? Is there outskirts, rural areas around you that you are willing to go to? What does this really do? How does this affect your bottom line? In this video, I'm going to share with you my experience over the last couple of years, looking at my local area and just kind of talking through these things. Hopefully this can be a help to you in your business as you are going along on this journey as well. The first thing I'd like to point out is you may be in the city, you may be on the outskirts of the city, maybe you're further out. The question is, how far are you willing to go for your service area to be what it is? Are you willing to only do the 10-mile radius of your town? Are you in a major city somewhere in the US where your population is more than you can even handle, even down the road? Being in such a large city with potentially millions of people, what does that really look like for you? So for me, I live in Lafayette, Indiana, where I service about an hour, up to an hour away roughly at this time right now. But in my local area, Lafayette is about 71,000 people right now. All together in Lafayette and West Lafayette, which is two different towns, technically two different mayors, but right across the bridge is West Lafayette, and that has Purdue University with it. So they have about 45,000 people that live there normally, and then about close to 50,000 students, I believe, is what they're pursuing this next year. So when school's in session, there's nearly 100,000 people next door when we have about 70 and some change. So we're not exactly in the largest, of course, city around here, but we're also not in the smallest. We have more than one stop sign. We've got stoplights. We have many of them. We have plenty of things going on around here with lots and lots of businesses. Lafayette and West Lafayette is really growing. It's booming as quick as it really possibly can. Of course, COVID, there were some issues there, but we are on track, consistently growing every single year. And the outskirts of Lafayette and the greater Lafayette area is only expanding. And so seemingly there's always new construction being put out there, new neighborhoods, new areas. Farmland is being taken away, and so they are building. And so with that comes the potential for customers. The larger the pool of customers you have at your disposal, or you're disposing for them, the greater the chance there is. The more shots you can take, the more hits you'll probably have. And so with that, for me, my service area includes Lafayette, West Lafayette, all kind of together within about a 10-mile radius, something like that. And then beyond that, I go to small little towns with maybe one stop sign, maybe one flashing red light. Literally, the small little outskirt towns, they don't have their own, maybe not even their own post office. They don't have much of anything, and they have maybe one gas station, like a Casey's gas station or something. Those types of towns I'm willing to go to, because oftentimes some of these larger companies aren't willing to go 15, 20, 30 miles out of Lafayette. And because Lafayette is maybe the largest city within about 50 miles, Indianapolis is probably the closest to us. They've got almost 1 million people, I believe. Any larger city or comparable city is about an hour and some change away, roughly, from us. And so all the smaller towns around us kind of feed into Lafayette or come from Lafayette as far as providing services. So for me, number one, my service area is definitely Lafayette, but sometimes I don't get calls just from Lafayette. I get calls from places further out. It's picking up basically the extra people out there who are not even able to get serviced by some of these larger dumpster rental business companies out there. So that's kind of a notable thing, that a smaller company, if you're starting up, if you're like myself, you're able to have maybe a wider radius around you for your service area because you're able to pick up the people that nobody else really wants to. That doesn't mean that it's not profitable. It just means you need to charge more, probably for your time, for your fuel, your wear and tear. Put that into your, accounting software, figure that out, the cost of operating and making that still profitable. So where the few people like yourself, you can make money and still service them if it makes sense for your business model. So that's the first thing with this service area. It's not just a matter of maybe your local city that you live in, but maybe your further outskirts area. That can be a big help to you by picking up business that other people don't even want, don't service at all. So my next thought is, based on this service area that you're able to provide, from what I can tell from my area, Lafayette, West Lafayette, and many places within the county and neighboring counties here, my best guesstimation is close to maybe 400,000 altogether, including all of these small towns, all these small areas around us, equating to this larger number, maybe around 400,000. That's not a hard number. That's a couple Google searches away, trying to piece some things together. So with that in mind comes maybe the growth of your business. What does that look like for you? Well, if you put $20,000 into advertising for your service area where you're at, maybe a large city in the US where you've got a crazy dense population of people, that might look different than spending the same amount of money on a rural area, on a massive service area that's maybe even, it's almost too much ground to cover. And it would be more of a headache to service such a wide radius. Depending on where you're at in the country, it's going to look different for you compared to somebody else. So in my area, I might seem like I've got a great potential for reaching a lot of people here with, over 100,000 people. And yet, to somebody else in a major city with 1 million plus, it's very possible that's a drop in the bucket. I mean, you're able to have a lot more opportunities to get in front of eyeballs, whether it's advertising or free or whatever, through social networking, that you're able to expand your business maybe even faster due to your service area. Is your area underserviced? Is it overserviced? Are there a number of companies already out there? Are you one of those companies, and yet there's more and more smaller companies starting up around you? Is that a concern to you based on the overall population of your area? How does that really affect everything? So there's a couple things you can do. First of all, this is just hitting the ground, just making some phone calls, but finding out in your area, call around and find out when's the next availability for a competitor to be able to bring a dumpster. If everybody's booked up, there's a good indication, at least maybe in the busy season and maybe in the slow season, look into both. Call constantly throughout the year, maybe once a quarter, to find out, hey, are you busy? Are you not? What's going on? And just do some reconnaissance to see, is this area underserved? Is it overserved? If everybody can bring a dumpster to you in the next day or two, it's probably likely that it's not, underserved. There's probably enough people already out there doing what you're doing. That doesn't mean you can't get into the business. Doesn't mean you should just, fold up and pack up. But it does mean that there is direct competition, and price aside, that other people could make it happen within the day or two, that people can say yes. And so for my area, I know there's the larger companies, of course. There's some smaller companies. Today I just saw, I believe, a first day, somebody with a dump trailer. I've never seen them at the transfer station ever. Looks like they just started up. I know we already have some of the bigger companies that are, of course, more established. I'm almost 3 years into this. I already have a client base that they are only going to use me largely, and I'm sure there's room as the city expands and grows, that there is more and more room. There is more potential for people renting dumpsters, and that's definitely a possibility. However, we do need to take into account that whether it's the first guy starting up today or the largest company in the area. Our population, our service area of being able to meet people's needs, whatever that looks like for you, that is going to be influenced to a certain degree by the number of people out there. People who are renting probably aren't going to be renting a dumpster. People who own a home, they might. How often does the average person rent a dumpster? When there's a death in the family, when they're moving, maybe they're getting married, something's happening, some type of those life events. Our dumpster rentals can often revolve around life events. Life events don't happen every day normally for people. And so it's going to be a little bit different compared to, a million plus of a city compared to me. And then from me to maybe somebody who lives in a service area, it's very, very rural, and maybe they have like 25,000 people within, 30, 40 minutes away, and they don't want to go further than that, which I understand. But that means it's going to influence the rate at which you could possibly grow, because if your service area isn't growing, or maybe it's even shrinking, it's very likely that that's going to be a major influence. Not to say that you can't, put yourself out there advertising, do all the free and paid versions of getting in front of eyeballs online and in person and networking and doing all sorts of stuff and getting contracts with companies and all those things. However, your service area, it does matter. And also, I want to say this. We shouldn't, at the end of the day, I do think it absolutely, it affects us. Our number of people we could even have say yes to us. That matters. But we also can't use our service area as a crutch. I'm not in one of those cities that has 1 million plus, that has all these people, that's huge metro area. I mean, it's crazy. I can't grow as fast as somebody else. Well, that might be true in certain aspects, but it's not maybe entirely true. Using your service area as a crutch is, in my opinion, a cop-out to a certain degree. There's 100,000 plus people around me. There's most of them, many of them are homeowners, and I should be able to help them with one of their life events at some point down the road. I should be able to continue to pursue them, do all the paid and free stuff that I can to be able to get in front of those eyeballs, to build those relationships. The customers I have had, many of them are repeat users. They have come back to me many times. That list is growing as far as every year, or maybe a couple times a year, that they're using my services. And so it's not an excuse. When you do acquire a customer, they can become a repeat customer. That can exponentially grow your business. That's a multiplier. It's a huge thing. The cost of acquiring a customer, which means your dollars and cents are finding other people out there that can hopefully do the same thing. So we need to be careful of using our service area in the right way. Use it to your advantage. Understand your situation, your surroundings. Literally, how many people are around you that you're willing to go out, far enough to them. Understand the type of customer you're going to be serving. Are these people in the city? Do they live further out? Are you servicing a lot of small areas around you because you don't live in a major place? Are you servicing only a large place, only a large city? And there's enough people, it's wild enough as it is. For you, that can affect your growth of your business, absolutely. But also, this should help us in our understanding of our reasonable expectations for this business. Are we trying to scale to a $1 million business in 3 years in an area with 25,000 people? In a service area that's maybe 30, 40, 50 miles or something. Who knows where you're at? But if you're not willing or able to go out to a much larger service area to be able to make those numbers in that population, be able to convert enough people to make it happen. If there's not enough repeat business by maybe, a few contractors or a few people who use you on a regular basis, you're setting yourself up to being let down. It's not going to happen. If you're in too small of an area and maybe you're the only person there. I've heard that in the Facebook groups before. I'm the only person in my area and I'm just doing what I can. Well, there might be a reason for that. It might be because a part of your service area, everything's too spread out. There's not enough people, and it would be nearly impossible to expand and to grow, maybe at certain, growth rates you're wanting to. Lafayette is growing. I believe it's like a 2% growth rate every year. Besides like COVID, I guess. We went negative like 4 or 5%. People just said, I'm out, I guess, that year. But we're looking at the service area on purpose because we do want to see the population, the growth of the population. We do want to be able to see, am I going to be able to hit my numbers with the growth rate of the area, with being able to connect with contractors, repeat customers, folks like that, to where we're able to hit these numbers. Our expectations, whether we're in a small area or a large area or somewhere in between, which is kind of where I feel I'm at, not using excuses to justify why we haven't grown as much as we wanted to, but understanding if we have to have a much larger radius to be able to service enough people, does it make sense for that to even work financially as far as the cost of operating, the wear and tear on your truck, the fuel? Does the customer even want to, or can they afford to pay the extra fuel cost for you to come from a further distance, maybe than some other companies out there? Does this make sense, putting all these different factors together? I have been thinking about this the last couple weeks, about my service area, about how far out I'm willing to go, what I'm willing to do, what I'm not willing to do. Modifying your service area may be something you need to do. It may be something you need to reevaluate after each year of growth, hopefully. But your service area absolutely plays a part. I don't think it's over 50%. I don't think it's, 1% either. But your service area definitely can affect your business and ultimately your business growth. However, I believe you and I, the owners of the business, people actually getting out and doing the work, finding the people, shaking hands, asking questions, putting things in people's hands, doing the ads online, all of these things you have direct control of. There's many things in life we don't have control of. And then there's a few things we can do. And more than your service area, more than other people doing things, competition, all that, that's just all noise. Block that out. For us, I think we need to have realistic expectations for our service area that we're able or willing to do, and then go after it. Understand that it may be harder in a small area to make things happen if you can't go further out. But that also is an excuse if you don't see the growth, that there wasn't something else you could do. There's always something else you could try. And we should be doing that. We should always be changing and growing and learning and attacking in different ways and finding out. I share this with you because I think oftentimes we can get caught up and get excited, and we can have maybe unrealistic expectations when you maybe live out in the middle of nowhere and you're only really willing to go maybe 30, 45 minutes away. And we think we're just going to send this thing to the moon. And yet, that's not what any of these factors are pointing to. There's a lot more that goes into it. In my area, I don't have 1 million people to go to. I have less opportunities, technically, to get in front of people, to be able to make that connection and to have repeat business. Means I need to hustle harder. Means I need to capitalize on every single interaction I have with somebody out there. There's less people overall. And the truth is, one customer can change all of that. I'm not here to say that, you have to have 1 million different customers to, literally to be able to make it work. You don't have to. I don't need 100,000 people to rent a dumpster from me. I need, literally, I could have 1 or 2 people, 1 or 2 customers that use me on a regular basis that absolutely changes the whole dynamic, my whole growth rate, my my growth projections, what I'm trying to do in my business, how I'm trying to do it. It could change everything. I hope this was a help to you. I've been thinking about the service area subject for some time here, the last week or two. Wanted to put this out here and just spur the conversation on. This is where I'm at, what I'm doing. If you have any different thoughts than I have, please share them in the comments below. I know I want to be balanced in my thinking, and I want to apply pressure that brings the best response. When I pull this lever, I'm able to make a lot more happen with it. And so that's what I'm trying to do in my service area with what I'm doing. So thank you for watching. Hopefully you have a great day today, guys. Subscribe, hit the like button, share this if you know somebody who maybe needs this. This can be a help. Certainly want to do that as much as I can. So have a great day, guys. Stay safe and God bless.